The pyramid is not the largest building in Egypt. The largest one was buried alive with 3,000 rooms, with several floors, all pressed in the darkness 40 feet underground. For 2,500 years, every historian who saw it with his own eyes wrote the same sentence: "This is not something that humans can build." In 2008, a Belgian team with military radar swept this desert and found 10 football fields. The large underground structure has granite walls several feet thick. In the center of the deepest hall, they saw something. Not stone, nor mud bricks, but metal. A whole piece of metal as big as the Statue of Liberty, buried 30 meters underground. It didn't look like a coffin, but a door. The story begins in 450 BC. The father of history, Herodotus, set foot in Egypt's Hawara, 80 kilometers south of Cairo, on the edge of the Fayum oasis, to build a giant building complex that shocked the world. It wasn't a pyramid, but a multi-story building covering over 70 acres with 3,000 rooms, with passageways like a maze. Herodotus recorded in his history the grandeur of this building was beyond words. Even all the great projects in Greece combined were not enough. Its scale and ingenuity even surpassing the pyramids. It's worth noting that Herodotus was only allowed to visit the upper floors. The Egyptian priest told him there were the same number of rooms underground, and forbidden to outsiders. Inside were buried the original builders of the maze, and wrapped in linen, with bronze teeth and gemstone eyes. The priest specifically emphasized the king who built the maze, suggesting that it was much older than the pharaohs. 400 years after Herodotus, the Roman geographer Strabo visited Hawara. He was also shocked, especially puzzled. The roof was paved with a single massive stone, without wood or beams. Hundreds of thousands of tons of rock was suspended. He admitted that without a guide, no stranger could ever get out of the maze. Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder mentioned in his natural history the famous Minotaur Labyrinth in Crete was just a poor imitation of the Hawara Labyrinth, only 1% of it. Historians of different eras and cultures over 600 years have described this multi-layered and multi-roomed building with an incomprehensible construction technology, and they all had a common regret that they were never allowed to enter the underground. Then the miracle quietly disappeared from history. In 1888, the founder of modern archaeology, the British archaeologist Flinders Petrie, arrived in Hawara. He was looking for the tomb of the pharaoh of Egypt, Amenhotep, the tomb of Pharaoh Amenemhat III. The pyramid of this pharaoh was built of mud bricks and loose sand, which was extremely unstable. Petrie spent months searching for the entrance and was trapped in the danger of tunnel collapse and quicksand. He was even stuck in the dark tunnel. He was able to escape with the light of matches thrown by workers. After getting out, he still insisted on returning to explore. Finally, Petrie broke through the sliding traps of the pyramid, the door, false passage, and stone mechanisms, and reached the central chamber, a room with a roof carved from a whole piece of yellow quartzite, covered by 3 45-ton white quartzite slabs, only to find it had been looted by tomb raiders. Finally, he noticed the ruins on the south side of the pyramid, with a foundation covering an area of about 7 billion acres, which matched the ancient maps and documents. He was sure that this was the site of the Hawara Labyrinth. But he mistakenly thought the labyrinth had been completely demolished, only the foundation. Petrie returned to the UK with disappointment, but ignored the records in ancient documents that recorded multiple underground structures. The foundation he found might be the roof of the maze, while the labyrinth itself was under his feet. In 2008, the Belgian IG Joint Expedition Matthias Roth arrived in Hawara. The leader, Belgian architectural researcher Louis Decordier, it took 2 years and obtained permission, carrying advanced ground-penetrating radar and cooperated with Egyptian institutions. The radar can penetrate 15 meters of sand. The result was shocking. 8 to 12 meters below, there was a huge grid composed of several meters thick granite walls, with an area of nearly 70,000 square meters. The walls form a closed room about 10 football fields. It was confirmed to be man-made. But after the discovery was published, it came to an end. At that time, the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Zahi Hawass, on the grounds of national security, banned the team from publishing follow-up studies, discussing details, and returning to the site. After 2 years of waiting, Dekdia, in June 2010, he published them himself. All the legally obtained scanned images and analysis reports, but was blacklisted by Egypt forever, and his academic career was completely over. He finally lived in seclusion in the Spanish mountains. Dekdia is not an isolated case. In 1993, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink used a robot. In the shaft of the Great Pyramid, he found a limestone door with a copper handle. After the public discovery, the robot was seized by the site. Later, Hawass used the same robot to claim it as his own discovery. In 2008, researcher Andrew Cronshaw in Giza, he found a crack leading to an underground cave system. After advancing several hundred meters, he found an artificial carved passage, but Hawass denied the existence of the cave and enter. A few months later, Hawass himself was photographed entering the cave. In 2010, the cave entrance was sealed with a metal door. Discovering and suppressing silence became the norm. The story is not over. In July 2015, former British Royal Air Force officer Tim X, a satellite intelligence expert, used synthetic aperture radar used to search for hidden nuclear facilities. Radar to scan Hawara. The scan results exceeded expectations. The underground is not a single layer, but 4 layers. Each layer was separated by 20 to 50 meters of solid rock. A central corridor runs vertically through all floors, reaching about 45 meters underground. The entire complex is surrounded by a moat shaped like the ancient Egyptians. The bottom floor has a hall 90 meters long and 36 meters wide. All levels gather here. There is a 40-meter-long object in the center. Radar signals show that it is not stone, mud brick, or wood, but a whole metal structure. Its size is equivalent to the Statue of Liberty. Its shape is close to a vertical disc or ring structure. It is not a tomb. It is more likely to have some functional use. Its material characteristics have never been seen by X. To avoid repeating the Dekdia's mistakes, X's team signed a strict confidentiality agreement, sealed the data for 10 years just to obtain an excavation license. The confidentiality agreement expires in 2025. The data was publicly released, but they still haven't obtained the excavation permit. Meanwhile, in 2023, academic papers used satellite radar data. In 2024, Egyptian researchers used resistivity tomography technique, have independently verified the existence of the large-scale artificial structure, which is highly consistent with ancient literature. Now, this ancient wonder is facing a catastrophe. Hawara is adjacent to a branch of the Nile. The canal built in the 19th century passes over it. Centuries of agricultural irrigation have raised the water level. The groundwater has reached 5 meters below the surface. The entrance of the pyramid is submerged. Salt water continues to corrode the granite walls and underground structures. In 2024, Egyptian researchers warned that if no measures are taken to reduce the water level, the site will suffer irreversible damage. Egypt and Italy jointly launched the LARS project through laser scanning and other techniques to establish a 3D digital model. However, due to the lack of large-scale excavation permission, it has always remained in the non-invasive survey stage. The most frustrating thing is that we have the ability to solve the mystery, but are artificially blocked. 4 independent scans spanned 17 years. Various techniques confirm each other. 600 years of ancient documents independently recorded by different civilizations. Under the sand, an underground complex covering 10 football fields is real. The deepest metal objects have waited for thousands of years. Is it an ancient handicraft, an unknown technological device, or a geological anomaly? The only answer is hidden in the forbidden underground. 2,500 years ago, Herodotus was told by the priest the things below cannot be seen. 2,500 years later, we are faced with the same ban, but the blockers are no longer priests. The greatest ancient building on Earth is slowly dissolving in salt water, and we can only stand outside and watch it disappear helplessly.